Welcome back, everyone. My name is the Bad Gamer, and if you couldn't tell, today I'm going to go through a short tutorial on how to make a character on CompCon for Lancer the RPG. This is a very, very good player tool. So what we have here is generally how CompCon works is it's kind of like an automated character sheet, which is really good. And not only that, but you can use this information that you make for your character to send it to your GM, so your GM can, have your information on hand and as well use it when running encounters, which I might do a separate video on running encounters. But right now, let's just talk about this. Now, this is for Lancer, the RPG, obviously, and this very tool here is one of the many, many reasons why I think Lancer just needs more attention, needs more people looking at it. Lancer's so good, it's so thematic, and this website is just very solid. So let's talk about CompCon. This is an automated character sheet generator, more or less. Now we'll go over some of the basics. First and foremost, content. You want to go to your content manager, and I have all these because I play the game, obviously. Yours will start off being empty. So what you'll do is you'll go to the LCP directory, and this will show you all the various official Lancer content and the community content if you want to do some of the community made mechs or adventures or what have you. You're going to be interested in mostly these top four. You're not going to really be interested in No Room for a Wallflower NPC data. I guess the Lancer core NPCs is something you're also not going to be very interested in. So No Room for a Wallflower, the Long Rim, and the Karakin Baronies is going to be what you want. And you can get this information for free. You don't need to make a purchase. What you'll do is you go up and you'll go to the download site. It'll take you to their itch.io. And you're actually going to scroll all the way down until you're going to get this download. And you're going to download the LCP file that they have here. This LCP file is going to be used for the website. So you're going to download it onto your computer. And then once you're done downloading the necessary ones onto your computer, you're going to go to install content. And you're going to go to select an LCP file. You're going to select all those files and you're going to click install. And then it should appear in your content packs like this. You can even open these to see what the books are about, get some information on them if you're ever curious at the time. And not only that, but you can actually set these to active or inactive so that if your game is, for instance, taking a book out or you're not using homebrew, that's probably mostly for the homebrew ones, honestly, you can disable them so that you're not accidentally selecting mechs, weapons, whatever, that your GM is not allowing in your games. So once you do that, we're gold. We can start making a character. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to dismiss. And another functionality thing, and something I really love with this, is it comes with some good personalization options as well. I'm using a different mode that you might be looking at when you load up. This is probably what you'll see, the GMS red default background. It's really good. I like the color scheme, but it's very bright. I don't like it. So I prefer the MSMC Solarize, which is essentially dark mode. Now they also have Horus Terminal, which is a fun glitchy terminal, and I believe here if I come up, yeah, you get this kind of art comes up, and then if we wait here long enough, it's gonna start propagating a chat room. And essentially this is lore specific. This is actually the lore coming in to their very character sheet creator, where you go on here and yeah, you can see here, this is just a bunch of people typing, and I think this is all just auto generated. I'm 100% sure. And it shows the dark web, essentially. That's where the Horus mechs come from. Horus is not even an organization. Horus is like the dark web of mechs and of all these people. So you get like a literal chat room here. And I think this is absolutely hilarious. And not only that, but sometimes, actually right before I started recording, I wish I had caught it on film, the Horus will just take over. No matter what your prior setting is, Horus will just take over, and you'll have to change your settings again if you don't like the Horus one. So I'm going to go back to the MSMC, and I do believe, yeah, so it is still going to, unfortunately the website's still a little buggy. and the chat is still coming through regardless. So if you refresh the webpage, which I'll do here, it should come up and everything should be normal and the chat won't be coming on and whatever. So just so you know, this website is a little buggy, honestly. Beyond the horror stuff in general, the website itself is a little buggy. So, you know, it's all fun in the flavor, and it's not a big deal. You can always change it at any time. All right, let's make a character. So we're going to go over to pilot roster, and you can see here I have a bunch of ungrouped people here. These are actually maybe the players from my game on writing our names in the dirt or wands. You can actually check that out on the channel every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to see Lancer be played, I would check those out. You can actually make a group. I should make a group, but you know, I don't run any other tables, so I don't really need to. Regardless, you can add a group to section these off if you're a GM. Now, I actually made one as a test earlier. I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to start with a whole new pilot. So we're going to create a new pilot, and you go to your pilot registration. This is where you put your character's name, their call sign, and choose their background. Now, it only requires that you actually have a name and call sign. The background is not necessarily important. So you can pick whatever name you want. I actually really like the random name generators here. Whoops. The random name generator seems to be very, very good. The call signs are even better. And more or less, if you're unfamiliar with Lancer, your name is your pilot's actual name. Your call sign is what other people refer to you as when they're talking. Obviously, if you have a complicated name, that's not good in a combat situation. So your call sign is more of what your character's actual name, or at least your character's effective name is in the game. But, you know, your pilot themselves is an actual person. So they do have an actual name. And then you can choose a background here. In the backgrounds, you can select this little tab here, and you can go through all the pre-made backgrounds you have. Now, obviously, backgrounds are not super important. These give you a bonus, an accuracy or a difficulty die, depending on the situation you are, if the GM remembers, or if you remember, or whatever. For instance, if you're a celebrity, if you're doing something with like the media, or you're like surrounded by your own fans, you might get an accuracy die when dealing with those things. But if you're dealing with like a pirate group who really looks down on you for being like a celebrity, like, oh, what's an actor gonna do, you might get a difficulty die. So your background could be whatever you want, and you can actually just make up whatever background you so choose. So, you know, keep in mind, it needs to be a very general background. You're like, it needs to be something that applies to certain situations, but not too niche where it only applies to like one event. But that might be different depending on what game you're in, so who knows. You can also add your pilot's biography here. If you're really into writing a backstory for your character, this is the place to go, and your GM can look at that when you give them your information. Don't need to send it to your GM. You can just put it on your actual character sheet. And then you can give a physical description of your character's appearance. Not only that, but you can actually upload a image of your pilot that you have custom made, or you can select from one of a variety of custom made. My face is blocking this here. 1 second. Custom made different images that you can select for your pilot. All these are really, really good and very, very thematic. But, you know, depends on your personal flavor, your personal choice. Once you're all said and done with this, and you've selected whatever image that you choose, then you're set to go and move on. Now, there's two ways you can move forward. You can select a character template, which is recommended for new players, and this is a full on all your skills, pilot abilities, and even the makeup of your first mech is determined by these essentially these archetypes, these templates, more or less. It tells you everything you get, tells you what pilot skills you have, tells you what talents you have, shows your mech's overall setup, and of course you can always change how your mech is designed. These are really good to select, and then you can alter what little things they are. They're really good if you're just starting in a brand new session and you're just doing like a one-shot or a trial to see if you even like the game. I do recommend these. It also used the amazing art from Retrograde Tabletop, which made a bunch of character designs for like virtual tabletop for Lancer and a lot of other kind of mech games as well. I actually really, really like these. So this is really fun, but I'll actually guide you all through the process itself. So going back here to the identification page, we're going to go ahead and just continue. So triggers, you get to select 4 triggers. These are your skills, obviously. They're very vague, and outside of mech combat, they don't, or these are the only things you use outside of mech combat, and they're not that important. A skill check is a 50-50 roll with some bonuses based on what triggers you have. You can make your own custom triggers as well. The triggers they have here is mostly just based on very general things your characters may come across. So you can use these as a template for making your own general, but not too general style of triggers. And whatever you choose, you just select one of these here. I'm just going to select these. You're all set to go. It tells you what these are. These are the bonuses you get to these spell triggers, obviously. It tells you you're done, and we can continue here. And I'm not actually going to explain everything about how, like, what is a character. I'm figuring if you're using this, it's because you want to use CompCon, and this is an example of how to use CompCon. If you're interested, you can read a lot more about these on the website and using the compendium. So, talents. Here you can see your talents. You can read what they give you, what kind of actions they do. They even give you these little cool icons to show you what kind of interactions they are. Really, really good. And when you want to unlock them, you just select these little locks here, and it shows that I picked up combined arms. Select the next one, and then it'll take me all the way down to the bottom. We're all good to go. If I choose to, I can go back up to any of these, clicking these arrows here to either unselect them or to reread them before continuing on. And then you can reset if you don't like any of them, and you can continue here at the bottom, which we will. And your pilot mech skills. This is where you dictate what pilot mech skills you have for your pilot, and these will affect your mechs. I really like this page because it shows you exactly what you're adding. So if we're adding into hull, for instance, every time I click this little arrow here, my mech gets 2 HP, and every 2 times I do it, we get extra repair capacity. It does this for literally everything, so you can see exactly what your points are going to when it comes to how it affects your mech and your character. So it's really, really good. We're going to hit continue. This will take us to our overall character page here, and you can check over everything, make sure everything is up to spec on what you want for your character, and then we can go ahead and register our pilot. So we register our pilot. We're right here. When you click it, you'll go to your character page. It'll tell you the basic stuff about your pilot. This is pretty general across the board, so we don't really need to worry about it too much. And any reserve information you have here can be added here. If you click that arrow, you can add different reserves or bonuses that you picked up during your campaign, which is really, really good. You just hit these little pluses here to add. See, you have an extra talent point, for instance, and then you can write in what the bonus is and any cost or complications that come with actually selecting this one. It makes it very easy to keep track of your character as we're going along. You can also put your pilot gear on here. It brings you up to a page of all of the stuff that you currently have access to. And when you select whatever suit you want, you just hit equip stealth suit. Bam, tells you exactly what it adds. It also tells you what the quick action that it grants you. You can do this for all your pilot gear, your weapons, yada, yada, yada. Really, really good. But we're getting to the best part here, right? We're going to go to Mech Hangar. When you make a new character, obviously your license level 0, so you only have access to the Everest or the Sagarmatha. And when you select one of these, and you can actually make multiple mechs on your character, you can choose a name for your mech, and you can select the random name generator is also really, really good here. Tough Times for Business, I think, is a really solid one. So we're going to register this one, and you can add a new mech if you have another spec that you want to do. But let's jump into the mech that we have. It tells us up here at the top that the system still has capacity, so we have not selected all of our system points, and we have mounts that are not currently filled. This also is stylized based on GMS. GMS is the standard red and white, so that's what we're seeing here. This is specific to each of the different organizations that you go through. So, obviously, you can put operator notes for how you might want to use this mech if you want to give yourself some helpful hints or tips. Here are all your frame traits for the frame that you've selected. All really, really good. The Sagarmatha is a really good mech. And here is your mech's general stats, so you can see how much HP they have, what their heat capacity is, if it gives a bonus to tech attack or attack bonuses, its speed, evasion, E-defense. Even tells you the size of your mech in case you forget. Also tells you what your current mech points are put into. And it also gives you your core system. And it tells you, again, you have these cool little highlights that you can see to tell you what it does. This is a quick action. Now, here's your weapon mounts. You can select these, and it gives you the whole list of weapon mounts that you can have access to with that mount. This is a normal mount, so it can access main or auxiliary mounts. So we'll select the assault rifle here. And then here's a flex mount, and you can select the flex mount. It kind of has the same thing, but if we select, for instance, like a light nexus, and we equip that, it actually will give us another one, because when you have a light or an auxiliary mount on a flex mount, you get 2. So we can select another one. And it does reduce the list so that it does not show anything that you currently do not have access to. Now we even have a heavy mount down here. If we go down to the heavy mount and we go to like the Cyclone Pulse Rifle, this is a super heavy weapon. You can't see it because it's behind my face. But we equipped it. It'll say, okay, super heavy does require that you have one heavy mount and one non-mount. So if we take this instead of the flex mount, this mount becomes locked. And we have access now to the Cyclone and the Assault Rifle. They also come with these really nice tags here that if you hover over, tell you exactly what the weapons do, so you have a constant access to them. And then we have the systems here. So any systems you have access to, you can select through here. And we'll just pick a couple here. You can read them. It tells you everything about them here in the list. And we'll just select a few more. And then, let's see here. Let's select the EVA. Oh, did I zero out? No, I didn't zero out. Okay, so now we're getting to a point where it does show that if I want to pick up the Type 1 flight system, I actually am over on the amount of points I have. This is what this indicates. So if I do select it for whatever reason, or I can't even select it until I go back and remove one of my other systems. So whatever we choose, we're going to go ahead and just fill out our system points here. And bam. Now if we click this, did I not equip that one? Okay. So now it's at 0. It doesn't offer us any other slots. So it's really hard to mess this up. And at the very top, it will tell you if you've done anything wrong on your build. Once you're done, it automatically saves as you're updating. And along with that line, actually, I do want to mention, if we go back to the home page, you have this connected portal down here that you probably want to connect to an account here. Obviously, you don't need to see my email. Not that you can't use that, of course, but that gives you all the information for remembering all this information. Obviously, you want to do that so you save all this information. We're going to go back to the account we have here. All right, so we have a mech. We're all set to go. But there's one more feature that you need to know about CompCon. So we're actually going to go all the way down here to the bottom of the screen, and we're actually going to go to active mode. Now, this is the active mode. This is currently before we're in combat. So this is when we are running around, doing some non-story stuff, when we're not currently using our mechs. Tells us what triggers we have, etc., etc. Now, if we start a mission down here, we need to select an active mech, so we're going to do so. Tough times for business, and we're going to engage in combat mode. And here we have the combat mode. You have your movement, your structure, your armor, whatever heat value you're at, you can hit these to increase or decrease. When you do get to the danger zone, the icon will change to this fire emote, which I do really, really like. Also tells you what your current heat capacity is, if you are losing any HP. We got overcharge, so if you want to use an overcharge, you +1, then you hit this. If you want to use another one, it's a D3. If you want to use another one, it's a D6. And if you want to use any more, it's a D6 +4 extra heat. Also really, really good. Tells us all of our mech stats, our skills over here, mech size, our mech's traits, abilities, what have you. And oh yeah, at here up the top as well, I'm going to go ahead and move over my face real quick. Tells you when you get overshield, so you can add this overshield that you can remove later. And your core power. So when you use your core power, which we'll go down here, activate core system, tells us what it does. We're going to activate it. Your core power becomes unavailable, and it shows your core energy exhausted. And so until you do a full repair or your mission is over, this will remain like this. If you need to change it for whatever reason, bam, it tells you that that's not the right way to do it, but that's fine. And yeah, and then it says active effects. This just says what active effects that we currently have. We have one of our fame traits, which is the Sagarmatha's general ability to once per scene brace without any penalties, and then we have Shield of Blades from one of our talents. And I'm going to go ahead and move my face back to where it was. Going down. So custom counters is just for if you need to record anything unique that the game doesn't normally have. Like say you're in a toxic environment and you have so many rounds before you start suffering some effects to your pilot, stuff like that. Here's our weapons. Here's our systems. Now when you can use them, it'll give you access. I should have picked a quick tech. There will be, if you have a system that has a quick tech, it'll say quick tech. Now you can select these. So the assault rifle I can skirmish with, but I can't barrage with because I don't have another mount to shoot with, because the heavy mount requires a full barrage just for itself. So if we shoot with our Cyclone Pulse Rifle, it actually automatically does our roll. It gave us an attack roll of 10. And if we were to like close this and make another one, that's an 18. And we do this one more time, right? Yeah, 7. So it automatically rolls whenever you open this up. And this is an accurate weapon, so it automatically added the accuracy. Now, if for whatever reason, when you pull this up and you needed to add an accuracy or a difficulty for whatever reason, if you click these, it will change the roll in the moment depending on whatever is higher. And if you're ever confused on what the roll has actually been adjusted by, it tells you right here. So on the D20, we rolled a 6 and we had a difficulty of 5. So we got a total result of 1. We commit result, it will change it here. And then we hit attack, and then we declare whether it's a hit or a miss. This will obviously be a miss. And then this weapon has reliable 5. So it tells us, okay, reliable 5, let the GM know. Confirm, and we're good. If it says target destroyed, it can be target destroyed. Really good for Theater of the Mind. And down here at the bottom, we have this other tab here. You can go to the combat log, and everything from when we started to when we just made this cyclone attack showed up here. So you have a whole combat log, and actually, let me open this up again. You have a combat log. You can also go here to look at your free actions that you currently have access to, your reactions, which does give you brace and Overwatch, your quick actions, which are all the quick actions you currently have access to, all your full actions, and any protocols you have access to. Now, obviously, those are all grayed out because we just made a barrage attack, which took up 2 of our actions. Now, if we were to overcharge, I do believe we could then attempt a skirmish, which we can, and we'll say that hit. And if we have any bonus damage, we can roll whatever the bonus damage is and confirm that. Now skirmish is gone. And we're pretty much done with our turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the very, very bottom. Oh, and we're going to go to end turn. And this will tell us we have movement available. So up here at the top, you see this movement. We can adjust this down to 0. And then, we can undo the end turn. I guess we can't anymore. Okay, well, that's fine. And then we can start round 2. This will automatically put the movement back up. This, the assault rifle is currently available. And it does show that our Cyclone Pulse Rifle is not loaded, so we can load that as an action as well. That'll show up in the combat log. And yeah, so that is pretty much everything that is here. We're going to go ahead and end this combat. I'll put us in a rest period. And here, while we're resting, we can do our repairs. We can adjust all of our stuff. And we can repair any damage. I'll automatically adjust this. And yeah, it's all really good automated. And then we can end the mission when the mission is over, or we can jump into another encounter. Now, if we go back to... Oh, you even have down here in the corner, I forgot to mention, downtime activities. You can look at all the downtime actions you have available to when you're in between missions as well. So if we go back to our pilot sheet for our pilot here, say we want to level up, we can hit this level up button, and it'll take us through a level up widget, which will allow us to upgrade one of our stats. We can go down to any of our selected talents and upgrade one of the talents, unlocking a new slot. And that went by really fast. So we can go back up here, double check. Okay, we got CQB trained. There we go. All set. Continue. And we can get a point in like our hull. Continue. And we can begin getting our licenses with whatever of the various armories that we want to go for. And so if we select like the Drake here, because I love my Drake boy, bam, we've done that. And again, it moved really fast. But you can see we got the assault cannon and the Argonaut shield. Back down here, hit continue. And we are not eligible to select a core bonus at this time, so we're going to hit continue and update our pilot record. And now we are license level 1. And as you go on, when you get new mechs, you can go back to your mech hangar. You can add new mechs, and they'll show up here. In fact, let's go ahead and level up one more time. We're just gonna do whatever. It doesn't really matter. I have a very fast Drake here. We're gonna unlock Drake 2 and continue. No core bonuses yet. Update. Now if we go to our hangar. Oop. That's not the hangar. Go back. Hangar. Add new mech. Now we have the Drake. We have a Drake. We can name our Drake something different. Very well, but very, very short. And now he's got the IPSN light blue and white framing stuff. And it's all really good. These are all based on the individual mechs. CompCon is a really good and intuitive site for playing Lancer. You can play this you can use this in addition to whatever you're using on tabletop. If you're doing a physical game, you can pull this up on an iPad. You can even download the site on your phone and use it from your phone. The phone doesn't have a specific app for it yet, so you do need web access to get to it. But there's still a lot more, and it's just one of the many things I love about Lancer. This whole website in general is just really, really good. And I mean, what can you say? You can even change your mech images by hit the set mech icon. And they have some stock ones that you can select from. I really like this one. Or you can upload your own. So the site is very customizable, very personal. And something I forgot to mention as well. You can go down here to, well, let's see. Let's go back to our pilot sheet real quick. We're going to go down here to this share pilot data. And we're going to actually generate a pilot code. There we go. So this is the pilot code. We're going to give this share code to our GM, and they're going to put this on their side, and they're going to get access to it. And then when they run an encounter, they'll have access to all your mech stuff. So they can even sit there and help remind you what your mech may have access to. So all really, really good information. I do really like it. And if you ever decide to, you can anytime export this as one of a variety of sheets. You can print a tabletop ready version of your mech sheet. You can clone this character for whatever purposes. You can even delete the pilot. So I hope this was informative. I hope this will help a lot of people who've been very curious about how to work CompCon. And if I missed anything, please let me know. Obviously, this isn't a video for the encounter builder. That'll be a separate video if that is deemed necessary. But I do think that this is going to be a very helpful video for many of you out there who may want to try Lancer, especially now that we're trying it here on the channel ourselves. But with that, that's going to be it for me. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy. Good luck with your games. Leave the bad luck to me. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.